Are the $80 vinyl replacement seat skins from eBay worth it? Let's find out. So the seats aren't in completely terrible condition. I already did this to the driver's seat base. This was a $20 replacement skin that I put on like 8 or 9 months ago or something like that. And that's held up pretty well, so that's what made me decide to go ahead and get the whole set here to try. The back of the driver's seat is getting cracked and worn a little bit here, and then definitely over here on the passenger side, this split has gotten a lot bigger recently and is starting to cut into passengers' legs, so it would be nice to replace that. Of course, the back's a little bit worn here as well, so it'll be nice to have all of this match for the most part. Of course, the only exception are the armrests and the headrest, which I didn't get replacement skins for, so hopefully the color will be close between that and the vinyl. But I don't know if this vinyl is exactly the same color as the new ones or not, but you know, these aren't too far off. I think it should definitely look better. So the first step is going to be pulling the seats out of the car here. I'm going to start on the passenger seat here, and the first step is to take the 4 screws out of the bottom of the seat to take it off of the seat base. Next up is going to be pulling all of the hog rings out here. The first time I did this on the driver's seat base, I think I ended up reusing all of these hog rings, so that is a possibility. But I would highly recommend getting a good set of hog ring pliers and new hog rings, because I didn't get the base on there perfectly the first time. So before I rip the old skins off of here, let's look at the new ones real quick. Kind of compare the color a little bit. There's the base. So actually, compared to the other $20 one that I got, these actually look nicer. Maybe a little bit closer in color. It's still not, you know, 3 different colors of gray going on here, but between the 2 of these, I think this is a little closer. So there's that one. And then here's the back, of course. So I'm gonna open up the other set of these, go lay them in the sun to warm up while I take the old covers off. Alright, so the J-clip things or whatever are a little bent and creased there from being in the box, but those should soften up a little bit as they warm up as well. Alright, now that the hog rings are out, need to go ahead and take the screws for the adjustment and the electric controls out here, and then I can start working on taking off the top portion. Shouldn't have any reason to reuse this, but if I ever do, all I cut was the threads, so just stitch that back up. Guess I should take the headrest off first. Leave those caps on the headrest. Cut some more of that. Alright, keep rolling. There should be both hog rings and Velcro in here, so getting into a little bit of Velcro now, and then I think there are hog rings across the centerpieces here. But I gotta take this armrest off as well. So I gotta get to that. there. You can see that is the snap ring to take the armrest off. So down here, if you can see it, is the snap ring to take the armrest off. Well, that might have gotten it. Can't even tell. Yep, there we go. Armrest out. Cool. So now we keep going. I just need to fish that clip out of there. I'm gonna need that to put it back together. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to get that in a minute. So, I think, here we are. Into hog rings. Yep, hog rings. There's 1, 2, 3 of them that I can see right now. Go ahead and do this the easy way. And just cut them. 1, 2, 3. No. Here's the phone. Alright, that's it. Alright, top's fully removed. I've got all sides of the bottom unhooked, including the side with the plastic clip here. And the bottom shouldn't have any hog rings on the top here, so it should just be a matter of pulling this off and undoing the Velcro down in the seams. And I take that back, there were hog rings on the back holding these straps to the back of the foam, so those did have to be cut. And of course the ones holding the bottom of the cover that we cut at the very beginning. You just want to be careful with the Velcro, you don't want to tear it off the foam. And like that, it's off. So here's what the seat looks like without its skin. Okay, so to put this back, turn the cover inside out, the new one of course, and then made sure that it is the correct side with the armrest indentation. I'm going to line this up and start rolling it down. And don't want to go too far because I've got some hog rings that I need to install here. I'm using these DeWalt hog ring pliers that I found that actually hold the hog rings as well, so I'll throw a link to that down in the description if you're interested. These are pretty nice because then you don't have to fuss with holding the hog rings, you just have to worry about the tool. Start in the middle there. Well, maybe this isn't the best tool for this. Straight in hog nose pliers might be a better option. Alright, I think that got on there. There is one up here in the armrest. Careful not to damage the foam. Ouch. Alright. Alright, let's keep going. Okay, now it's just going to be the same thing on the bottom. I went ahead and left that J hook or whatever disconnected for now. Just going to get the bottom cover on there, kind of get them all situated, and then I'll worry about getting these all fully clipped together on the bottom. The same thing kind of helps to line up the Velcro parts. Get you going. Okay, well, I'm gonna let this one sit here for a while. It just occurred to me that the snap ring for the armrest, I never got out of there and put back in its spot. So I need to do that before I can fully secure everything. But I'm just gonna let it sit and kind of stretch out and take shape and start working on the driver's side. So this side's just gonna be the same drill. Take the control panel out, the adjustment here, and then 4 screws holding the seat to the base. Alright, well here's the driver's side all stripped down. Almost ready for the new cover, but before I do that, I'm going to replace the foam bottom on it. So I lied a little bit, I guess, technically. The seat skins were like $80 or whatever. And then this seat foam was another like $65, I think. This is the actual DuroFoam made in the USA. Good stuff. So decided to go ahead and make sure I put good foam down in there and spend a little extra doing that. So just need to pull the old foam off, put the new foam on, and then the new seat cover can go on the driver's side as well. Actually, before I put that new one on, I guess I might try to fix a few more of these broken pieces that have come off here. This side's snapped, and I don't know if there's anything I can do for any of these or not, but take a quick look here before I put the new foam on. Okay, well, I guess I can't actually like put any of these back. This one's broken off here. Should probably just break this and pull it out entirely, but what I can do to try to strengthen this up a little bit, some of these, is I can throw a couple of extra zip ties in between these pieces going across, and that should provide some extra tension and support overall, I think. So I'm going to do that, throw a couple in there, and then I will put the foam on. Okay, well, not pretty, and it probably won't even hold, but I threw a bunch of zip ties in here to kind of reinforce all of the weaving, springs, all of this. So we'll see how it does, but let's throw the foam back on there. Okay, so continuing on here, I'm going to try to pull this tight, and I think the best way to do this, since the plastic edge is on this side, is to pull on the opposite side of that and pull it tight there first, and then do the front and the back. However, these should hook over to here, or at least on the originals they did, and so that's definitely not going to reach the, not going to be able to use hog rings for that, so I'm going to have to do what I originally did on the first base replacement and use zip ties. So I'll poke some holes in the strip here, zip tie over to these holes, and then use that to pull it tight. And that should hold it. It held the other one on there just fine. Okay, so just wrapping up putting these back together here, and for the armrest there's that spring clip, and that's not real easy to get in. So what you can do here, what I did on the driver's side already, is pull up this is the top part of the foam, the seat back, and right here where the armrest goes in, if you gently pull down, you can pull the foam back and away from it, and then you can actually get to the clip right there. and then you can put that back on. So that was the easiest way I found to put it back on when you're putting these back together. So quick tip. So let me wrap this up and get this one back in the car. Okay, now both of the seats are back in here. I kind of sat in them a little bit to try to get everything fully seated and situated as far as the skins. And now I'm going to start cutting the holes for the controls and the adjustments, headrests, armrests. I didn't do any of that yet. I wanted to put them in here, like I said, and sit in them a little bit, just to make sure I've got everything as close to perfect as possible before I cut the holes. Because of course, once the holes are there, then there's not really any chance to move it again. Alright, let's start with the round one here, because that's relatively straightforward. Alright, I think that's good for that. We'll get the handle and put that on there before moving on to the next area. Alright, that's good. Always nerve-wracking cutting into this. A little bit at a time. There's one of my connectors. The front ones, I need to keep going back. Remember, you can always cut more, but you can't cut less. Don't want to cut too much more, but just enough to get the rest of that in there. Alright, so something about like that. So I guess, yeah, I need to keep coming over here a little further. Alright, well, it's in there. Of course, I cut it just ever so slightly too high right here. Probably tuck that in there and hide that, but not too bad otherwise. Now I just need to do that on the other side, and then headrests, armrests, almost done. So same thing here on the driver's side. Poked a hole for the back adjustment, and then for the what is this, the lumbar adjustment here, same thing. I kind of actually got the old skin and held that up, so I had a rough idea. And then the other thing you want to keep in mind, I did cut the one a little short over there, is that you want to stretch this up and towards, up and away, because that's what's going to happen when somebody sits in it. So if you make a mistake, it's better to do it a little bit lower than it is higher, because it'll stretch like that. And done. So I did better on that one. I cut it low, cut it undersized, and then cut it back a little bit more, so there was no chance of it even being close to the edge here. So having a little trouble getting the armrest back in here. As I showed, I put the clips back on before I put the cover fully on the back here, and I did lubricate the pin here with a little 3-in-1 dry lube beforehand, but I cannot get this to push past the clip in there. So I think what I'm going to try next is a little bit of actual grease and see if that'll give it enough lubrication to push those sides of the clip apart and slide past and lock in. Just takes a little tiny dab. Get the grease everywhere. Ooh, got it. Cool. So there it is, it's in there. So yeah, that's the trick. It just needs a little bit more lubrication than what the dry lube was providing. All right, and now they are fully done. Armrests are in, and that's, like I said, definitely the trick. And like I said, other tips, you know, just when you're putting all this stuff in, pull like you're sitting in it so that it's stretched in the direction. Headrest holes, pull down, pull towards you like somebody's sitting in there when you cut the holes. The only complaint I really have here is these upper portions are a little bit loose. You can see it more in the back here. A little bit loose. The foam backing on the new skins is not as thick. Actually, there really wasn't much of one, but definitely not as thick as the OE skins. It's not quite as noticeable on the bottoms, and then especially the driver's seat with the brand new foam. It looks awesome. It's not loose at all, but again, little bit loose. So I might, at some point in the future, try to go back and add a little bit more foam, thin foam in there, do something, I don't know, maybe not, we'll see. But overall, I think they look pretty great. I'm very happy with these. Really makes it seem like a brand new vehicle. And I have driven it a little bit, and it definitely feels like that sitting in it too. So I will post the links to these skins and the foam that I got down in the description, so you can check those out if you're interested. And I do plan on getting another foam for the passenger seat. Even though they don't make the passenger seat foam, the little cuts are almost the same, so I can make that fit, and I think that'll make the front of this that much better, and it'll make it nice for my wife to sit over there too. Then the one little mistake, of course, on the driver's seat is I cut a little high here. Again, I didn't, like I was saying, pull enough towards the direction I was sitting when I made the cut, so you can kind of see here that a little bit of it's poking through with the controls. So I think that is a finished project. Awesome. Ooh. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for this one. In my opinion, these seat covers were a fantastic deal for 80 bucks. Add in a new piece of foam and you really end up with a brand new driver's seat here. Or at least as close as you can get to one in a 26-year-old vehicle. So make sure you click that thumbs up down below. Like this video if you did. Check out VehickleGarage.com in between videos for more content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And I will see you next time.